Thank you, and thank you for the work.
Thank you. Chief Executive.
So I just wanted to talk with you permanent things in the paper before I open up questions. Obviously, on the first page here, it talks about the finance, which is front and centre for Kings, obviously, and we know the situation that's been happening up in Nelson, and today Kings announced it's going to be finance here, and most of the categories that we really need to encourage, and if we're working with Kings to cover through Newsline, sharing that information through other channels, and also putting that on our website to really get that message out there that it's very high risk for us. Just further to the Nelson situation, we've had a number of country staff deployed out there over the last 10 days, right into the EOC functions around PINs, the district welfare, the leading person response team has gone up there as well, and from the wider Canterbury CDM group response has been about 30 other deployments too. So we've got staff moving in and out there, and additional, there's been another additional request today just to support their effort. So it's going on there. Obviously we've got town hall opening this weekend on Saturday, and that's already previously sorry, it's really good. No question there. So that's happening, that's really exciting. There's been some great feedback around Pūmoi and the hockey event that happened weekend, and all the opportunities are seen on TV. You've got glimpses of the event as much as the hockey too, but was well attended, and I think the general conversation has been it's a fantastic facility for the concert, so that's been really great. You'll see the water supply improvement program. I have got coming here for Christmas if you've got leaving, but that again, we're still, as you know, upgrading the wells. 38 out of 140, you've got detail here. There's some challenges with the hot weather around the water consumption, but we're still at a point where we're still asking for voluntary water restrictions, but we're keeping that program moving forward. And then, and Tūranga visits, you see really 40 million people have been through the door at Tūranga, which is just amazing. So those are still highlights as we go through here. Questions?
Just a couple of details with regards to the Phil Collins, the Black Clash, just a few details, and this is really why we do these. The Black Clash, 11% of New Zealanders saw something about this event in Christchurch on TV promos, so that's quite outstanding. There was a separate Facebook promo in our central city involving Ali Williams and Stephen Fleming with 8,000 views. The event attracted 8,000 people, and 30% of them, 2,400, were from outside of Canterbury. So for an event of that size, that's significant. For the Phil Collins concert, V-Base, we had close to 25,000 people. Out of that, 12,000 were from outside of Christchurch, 3,000 were from Canterbury, and that's from the Hiranui, Selwyn, and the Waimak and the surrounds. So that's really positive. But over and above that, the 9,000, over 9,000 were from between North Cape and the Bluff, and we know that we've got tracking systems, so that is absolutely significant, and that's what we're really talking about. Plus, we had agents from throughout New Zealand who bring us conferences and flat floor events like boat shows, cooking show, all sorts of things. So we hosted a large number of them from throughout New Zealand, and we were showing them Christchurch, what the rebuild was doing, and also the facilities. So those types of events are absolutely essential, and not only for our local community, but also our economic benefit and also ongoing economic benefits through those agents. So yeah, some background anyway. Cheers.
Good news. Yanni?
Thank you. I just wanted to check in terms of the town hall, do people need to register and get tickets, or do people just show up?
For which event?
For the open days.
The open days, no.
Right. So just to be clear,
I think there'll be a separate queue for senior cits.
We've got invites if they
reply, they'll get instructions about where to go and what to park.
Right.
But any member of the public can also bowl up on that day.
Great. So I was just wondering if we should encourage people on the invite to RSVP or not.
I think the invite does say RSVP to
It does.
info,
That's why I'm
I think.
confused.
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. So those people with the invite, if they RSVP, they will get a reply back next week about where they go, where they congregate, just so that they can be a VIP area. But if the rest of the public can just bowl up and be there as well.
Okay, no, that's cool. And I was just wanting to understand about the water supply improvement, how we're going with responding to leaks. I'm still getting a number of people raising concerns with me that where they see leaks that just aren't being fixed as quick as possible.
David?
Yep.
The number of leaks, we're working with our contractor to respond. We are prioritising them as they come in. We are, as you know, because of the dry weather, getting a lot more of those being identified, and they are very imminent. I've actually seen a couple up Cashmere that have been going for a wee while, small trickles, and so we're working with our contractor to get the gangs out there to fix them. We're prioritising them into immediate 1 days, 3 days, and the occasional 10 days. I'm sorry, I haven't got the latest performance data on that, but certainly we could bring it to the next finance and performance about how well we're meeting, or how well the contract is meeting those timelines.
Or I just think some public information
I think,
on the website,
put
like
on the
a dashboard
website.
type thing, which says, we've got, 1,000 outstanding water leak complaints. We've triaged X% into urgent. These are in the next category. But yeah, it's this whole problem with Send, Snap, Solve that people don't get any sense of when they register something, when the response is going to happen.
Yeah, but they can get a number and they can trace now. That's the improvement in the system.
Yeah, the emails that come back on Send, Snap, Solve don't refer specifically to what you've put in. So when you get the email back, you just get 2 numbers without any sense of what job it's for. So then you have to manually ring up.
So, I mean, for somebody like you who's putting in complaints every day, that's probably a problem. But generally speaking, you know what complaint you've just logged because you get it back straight away.
Yeah, okay. I think we've got an issue around the whole Send, Snap, Solve and the ability to respond to people.
Yeah, I still want us to aim for solve, snap, send.
Yeah, exactly. That's my point. So, and I think just explaining to people and that was the 2 final questions. One was the tree cleanup from the wind damage. I'm still seeing a huge number of trees not being cleaned up and a number of trees that are quite hazardous. Can you give us any sense of how the organisation is progressing and what steps we've got in place to record where the damage is?
Have you logged those?
Yes.
Right, so can you just follow that up?
Unless
you can give a general answer.
See, we're all providing across city streets and parks and sending memo out to people around how we're triaging that. We've pretty much finished most of the parks ones just a few to go, but we'll send a memo out.
Right. But the key message is for people in the public to keep reporting them as much as possible.
I think it's worth recognising there was some more damage a day ago or 2 days ago. There's another sort of amount of branches down. Presume snapped in the big wind, and the next wind was enough to...
Exactly. I mean, the initial damage has actually made them more vulnerable.
Yeah. And the final question was the Metro Sports facility. It says that tenders received by Otakaro from potential main work contractors. We're waiting for confirmation from Otakaro. I see there's a big story on the press this morning, so I just wondered if we've got any update on that.
I don't believe that we received formal confirmation from Otakaro yet.
No, we did get a phone call last night after it was up on the media, but we're waiting for formal communication from them. But we have been advised that they have advised the successful and unsuccessful contractor.
Right.
Oh, tenders, sorry.
Yeah.
It's a bit awkward that someone knows something, but obviously the rest of us don't.
Yeah, I think that, someone knows something relates to the fact that unsuccessful tenderer was advised as well as the successful tenderer. So, and that means that people talk. So, yes, it should be, and we should have been told to start with. And here's my sense of irritation, and that's all I'm prepared to display in public. Thank you.
be later today or tomorrow.
Yeah.
Council.
Thank you. But I'm sure that, Mary, you'll pass on our sense of frustration at not knowing.
Yep.
Glenn?
Thank you. Just a question over the Linwood pool there, and just, totally happy, mata pupere, that process there for te reo name. Just wonder whether there's enough room for, say, the community board was of a mind to promote a former long-standing community board chair's name into that process. Is there enough as well as the te reo name? I mean,
I would
that's been
suggest
talked about.
that you raise it with the community board. It's
Well, it's more that whether the process would allow that.
the process always allows it.
Okay.
You've got Taiora QE2,
Yep.
so there's no reason why you can't have a Māori and an English.
Yeah. They won't
No.
necessarily transliterate, but.
Doesn't matter.
Yep.
No, but I don't
know,
want.
I know,
I
but
want people to stop thinking of Māori names as transliteration. They're not.
I know.
They are the appropriate name that is gifted as part of a total design package which understands the history of the site. So if there is a person for whom, and I'm guessing that I know the name, that you want it associated with as well, I'm sure the community board will come up with that.
Okay. Just the other thing too on the midges, we'd need more data perhaps, but the complaints have switched to the southern side of the oxidation ponds at the moment. So that's just the complaints we're getting. I know it talks about 30% reduction in the.
Yes, I know, but I also understand that's over the season, but we're facing some increased complaints just over this period of time because of the hot weather. So Dave will note that and we'll come back if there's anything important about that.
Yeah, basically it's showing, as Anne says, a reduction, but there's a steep climb in it. We've got one newspaper request in for some information which we replied to yesterday or the day before. So, but generally a lot quieter than any other year, at least at my level.
Right. I've got Anne, Phil, and Dion.
Thanks. And just looking at the information in the report about the fire hazards, we did have a meeting, as it says, with staff. And because we are the landowner and it's our responsibility to maintain its properties, just wondering if we can communicate to our residents what we are actually doing as an organisation in terms of things like mowing berms and things like that, which I know is happening, but we just to reassure with the Nelson situation and the dryness, there is a lot of anxiety, and it would be great for those people, particularly on the Port Hills, to know that we are being proactive and just reducing any chance of fire on our properties. Yeah.
Okay, fine.
Great. Just and how to get that message out there in a simple way. I know that the newsline has got stuff on it and all that sort of thing, but it's more about what we are doing as an organisation as responsible landowners to reduce that fire risk. Yeah.
Sure.
Thank you.
Very good. Phil?
Thank you. And mine's in relation to parks, and it's in the regional parks rangers team around Victoria Park. They received this award from the Kashmir Business Association, and it was prestigious, which is fine, and congratulations to them. I guess when it just would be good in future, say, if the community board might also be involved in that. I'm aware it came from the Business Association, and it's a bit tricky in that sense, but just in future it'd be good to have the community board involved in those local sort of things, because there's a good number of community groups who are involved on the park. My question too on the next page is around the consenting and compliance part, and it just on both the compliance and the building consents. There have been quite a few concerns expressed to me recently about some of the processes and the cost structures, and I'm just thinking, especially because that's come to me, and I don't necessarily have a clear answer, and other elected members might be in a similar position, if it might be helpful for us as elected members to have a workshop about those building consent costs and processes. I see Councillor Goff's out of the room at the moment. But
OCE, we could have a memo just to respond to which aspects.
Yeah, would you mind sending that through to the OCE? We can get a memo or a discussion, at least with Leonie. I'm sure she'd be happy to provide some information around the building consents, the structure and processes to you, whether it's a workshop or something like that. But
So I just wondered though if it's a wider issue than say that some of the few local ones I've got, that's all. And while a memorandum might help me, I'm just wondering if there, and I'm aware that Tuesdays now, for example, are much tighter in terms of seminars and workshops, but
Perhaps we can see through the issues, then we can have a look at it and see whether it's something we could respond to in writing, and probably
happy to
form a briefing depending on what they are.
Okay.
likewise, if anybody else has got any issues in their own area, it'd be handy to know that too.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Very good. Dion?
Yeah, I was just quite curious around the abandoned and vacant properties part on page 10 of the actual report thing. There was 10 reports, but none were obviously substantiated. Is the bar too high to do any type of enforcement when we get complaints from the public on these issues?
No, I can talk to that. No, we use a model, so a model called VADE, so voluntary, assisted, directed and enforced. So you don't always have to jump straight into infringement notices. You can actually talk with people, provide them some advice. Sometimes people don't know and appreciate, so they can. There's already some sort of compliance work going on. It's just that those complaints that have been made, and they are complaints, so they haven't been substantiated or requiring infringement notices or that directed or enforced scenario, but they certainly have been assisted with information to get things right.
Okay. And the other one that I had a question around was the Performing Arts Precinct. I see there's a report coming in March 2019 detailing the feasibility study. Is that going to have any decision to be made by us to actually get on with the project, or is it just another report?
Mary might be able to help, sorry. No, the Performing Arts Precinct.
Oh, yes.
We really need to get on with it.
Yes, yeah, so that will be a decision-making report that's coming in March. So it's in response to the resolution that you made last year. So it's setting some direction for that.
Some direction, or actually getting things off the ground and started?
It will be up to the council to determine the next steps, but it will be suggesting moving forward with that quite quickly.
Okay. And just on the Metro Sport facility, another capital thing, not the Metro Sport, sorry, the Canterbury multi-use arena. On-site geotechnical testing is complete, it says there. Does everything look okay in that respect from that? Is there nothing that needs to be sort of flagged up?
Nothing we see flagged up at the moment, although there's examination work on that, on the findings of that, but nothing needs to be flagged.
Yeah, okay. And I crack up that it says here DPMC, LINZ, Treasury or Tākara are all involved to talk about over-agency. That's a classic example of it, isn't it? Is it slowing it down, having all these agencies involved?
It's a partnership approach to this, and we're working
So one
together.
council organisation and 4 Crown organisations?
We're working together to try and move the project forward.
Okay.
Anything else? Anyone else? Would someone like to move that the report be received? Jimmy Chen, second of Mike Davidson. I'll put the motion. All those in favour say aye. Those opposed say no.